waiting to make sure it says we're live. Okay, it says we're live. Hello, folks over on YouTube. I see John checking in from Lower Early, England, from warm and sunny Lower Early. I am checking in from hot and sunny NYC, and we've got some folks on Zoom with me, which is awesome, some of my patrons. And then over on YouTube, I also see Renee on your lunch break, more chewing than singing along. Yes, I understand, but I'm glad you get to tune in. And if anybody else who's watching over on YouTube wants to introduce yourselves in the chat, you're welcome to. And for those who are here for the first time, I will say that I just updated. Actually, I'll say this to everybody, because if you have had this beginner packet for a while, I did update it and put a few new songs in this month. So if not very many, and I have ideas for more, but I had a couple that I had sort of ready to go, so I stuck them in yesterday. And so if anybody, hi Jane, if anybody wants to download it again, you can. I put the link both in the Patreon post and also in the YouTube description box, but I'll also share chords on the screen, so don't feel obliged to download it if you want to just look at the chords on the screen. But basically, we're going to play whatever we have time for over the course of the next hour, and I'm going to approach everything as from a beginner standpoint. So for people who are not beginners, you of course are welcome to add complexity, to play different chord shapes, different strums, different picking, whatever you want to do. But I am going to do my sort of small amount of instruction I do before each song from a beginner standpoint. And if any beginners have questions, then please feel free to either put them in the chat if you're over on YouTube, or you can either unmute yourself or put them in the chat if you're here on Zoom. Same thing for requests. So we're going to take requests throughout this jam and play along, and here are our songs that we have to choose from today. So feel free, and if you're thinking of my other songbook, which has even more songs in it, those are for our Tuesday get-togethers, and we will have that still coming up twice this month. So feel free to join us for those as well. Let's see here what comments I'm getting from folks over on YouTube. Oh, Cheryl, you weren't able to get into the Zoom. That's strange. It looks like everybody else got in without a problem. So I'm not sure what to tell you, but definitely do try again if you're able. You could go back to the Patreon post and try the link. Sometimes you have to cut and paste the password rather than just typing it in, so you can try that if it's asking for you for a password. I see Callie. And Renee is wanting to try the beginner version of Running Up That Hill. So let's start with that, because I think it's a good one to warm up on. So I put this into our songbook because I was making a more advanced arrangement for the mixed level songbook. I have yet to cover this, actually. It's very rare for me to put a song in my songbook before I have made a video of it. But this song got so much buzz. Of course, it's from the 1980s, but it got so much buzz because it was recently used in a very famous scene in Stranger Things. That it's been all over the internet, people talking about the resurgence of interest in this song. Kate Bush, of course, is brilliant and has been around for ages, but we'll go ahead and try this song from the beginner standpoint. So there is a more complicated version of this I'm putting in my mixed level songbook for Tuesdays with bar chords. But then I was looking at other people's tutorials after making my more advanced version, and found that if you change keys, so this is not in the original key, but if you change keys, you can actually play it in a much more simple fashion. So there's an A minor in this, there's an F, there's a G, a C, and a D minor. There's also a page turn. The song goes on to the next page. So I will scroll when we get down to the bottom there. But really what I found was you can absolutely do this song on island strum. Although there's some really cool drum beats going on in the song, and when I play it in the mixed level jams, I will use a chucking strum. And you can certainly experiment with chucking. Oh, here comes Cheryl. Good, she got in. You can certainly experiment with chucking if you know how to chuck. But I'm just going to play it with regular island strum, and then I have bolded the measures where the chords move too quickly for the island strum, which means we have to do something shorter. And there's two ways that I suggest approaching this for beginners. One is that you could just play a single strum for those. So for example, on the A minor, you can do a whole island strum, and then you can do, actually, sometimes two, and then you're gonna do one F and one G. And and you can do just single strums there. Or you can do a down, down, up on each of those chords, because that's sort of like you're splitting the length of time one island strum would take between two chords. It may be that I will find typos in this arrangement and any of the other arrangements in here, so I'm going to pull my my little sticky note here so I can make myself notes. If I need to fix anything, I will absolutely fix it before I do another update. But let's just give this one a try. I'm new to learning this song too, so I may not sing the vocals exactly right, but I'm going to make a video cover of this soon, and then there'll also be that for people to play along to if you want to. All right, so let's just do some A minors to get into the rhythm. And if you don't know the island strum yet, then you could just do down, down, up instead of an island strum, or you could do single strums the whole way through the song. And sometimes to some people that feels boring, but I absolutely think it's a valid way of working through a song when you aren't up to the strumming speed yet. Okay, so let's start on this A minor here, and then we're gonna play the A minor and then we're gonna sing. It doesn't come right on the first word, so it goes like this. It doesn't hurt me. Do you wanna feel how it feels? Do you wanna know that it doesn't hurt me? Do you wanna hear about the deal that I'm making? You, it's you and me. And if I only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. Say if I only could. Here's the G, A minor, and the next verse comes after this. You don't wanna hurt me, but see how deep the bullet lies. Unaware I'm tearing you asunder. Oh, there is thunder in our hearts. Is there so much hate for the ones we love? Tell me we both matter, don't we? You, it's you and me. It's you and me. Won't be unhappy, and if I only could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. Say if I only could. Okay, hold here for a second while we change the page. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. F, G, A minor. You, it's you and me. It's you and me. Won't be unhappy. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, come on, darling. Let me steal this moment from you now. Oh, come on, angel. Come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. Single strums here. And F, G. It's going to repeat a lot towards the end here. The rhythm changes slightly just for the singing. And if I only could, I'd make a deal with God. I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, with no problems. Say if I only could, I'd make a deal with God. I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, with no problems. of a fade out in the original, but sometimes you just have to go with the single strum to end the song. So there you go. And if you know that song even better than me, I hope you'll work on it and record it and tag me, because I am still learning it, but I'm having a lot of fun learning it. It's a great song. All right, what else do people want to play today? And Cheryl, I'm glad you made it in.
I can't find the chat.
Could we do me and Julio, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Me and Julio. Oops, I went past it. This is a Cynthia Lynn arrangement. It does have a slightly more complicated rhythm. So for people, again, who are beginners and you don't feel confident in your sort of rhythmic strumming, you can either let that all go and strum it however it feels to you, or you can do single strums in the part that move a little too quickly for you. And especially when we get to the chorus, there's this whole Goodbye to Rosie, the Queen of Corona part. Cynthia's already indicated here that she suggests we just do single strums for that because the chords move quickly. Again, that's sort of like I was saying in the last song. Sometimes you don't have time to do a whole island strum, which is actually how she recommends we play this song. So in several places there'll be down strums just with those forward slashes. That's what she's suggesting. The other thing about this song is that there is a different rhythm for the intro, but you could play just the changing chords if this is a little too much for you. So it sounds like this. I'm going to spend a lot of time teaching it because I do want to keep this very beginner friendly. But if you want to try to play that intro, it sounds like this. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up. And changing on the up is the hardest part for most people. Do that 4 times, and that's how that intro goes. And that's also going to happen twice at the end of the chorus, that same rhythm. Now, if you find it difficult to play it that way, you can also just play the chords as they change. So then you'd have to think in your head them changing with the rhythm. You'd go 1 and a C and G and a D and a 1 and a C and G. That G kind of sneaks in there, D. And you can play this all on down, so you don't have to worry about coming in on the up for the G unless you want to practice that. But that's how that rhythm goes, and you're welcome to just play the chords along with me, or even just do some scratching strumming. Loosely put your fingers around the fretboard and just keep doing the island strum while we go through that part. That would work too. Whatever makes it accessible and not too frustrating for you. Also, you can come back to this and slow it down if you want to practice it at slower speed later. But we'll start it out a little under tempo. The song goes pretty fast, and we won't do it that fast to start out with. Feel free to whistle along or pull out your kazoos for the whistle solo there when we do the chorus the second time as well. All right, so let's give this one a try. Again, a little slower than we would normally hear Paul Simon doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, C and G, up, down, up, D, G, C, G, D, G, C, G. One more. And then we'll switch to island. The mama pajama rolled out of bed and she ran to the police station. When the papa found out, he began to shout and started the investigation. It's a single G. It's against the law. It was against the law. What the mama saw, it was against the law. Second verse. Mama looked down and she spit on the ground every time my name gets mentioned. And the papa said, oh, if I get that boy, stick him in the house of detention. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. I'm taking my time, but I don't know where. Goodbye to Rosie, the Queen of Corona. Great suggestion. What an awesome Simon and Garfunkel song. I love the way Paul Simon writes. And that's really fun to play on ukulele. All right, what else would folks like to play today? Old Town Road, says Callie. Let's do it. My sister's name is Callie, by the way. It's fun to see that on the screen, although she spells it differently. All right, I went right past it. I always forget how long my alphabet is in this book because it's a little shorter than the other one. There we go. All right, so here's a song where you could try some finger picking, but I'm going to also talk to you if you're not up to finger picking yet, or if you're only doing very basic finger picking. I'm going to talk about how we can approach that. So that you can kind of make it even simpler if you don't want to try the picking. But I also recommend you, oh good, we'll do Walk Like an Egyptian next. Great suggestion, and we'll talk about chucking just for a second. So for Old Town Road, Cynthia has arranged this with both a pick and a strum, and then there's a verse with what she calls a breakdown, where you can do some knocking on the body of your ukulele, which is fun. So the breakdown verse is the simplest. Even though it can feel a little bit confusing to get the rhythm, all you're doing is a single strum and then a knock for each of those. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. That works for the first two lines of the verse, and then you go back to strumming. And the strumming in this song is the simple rock strum, which I do believe is beginner friendly. It is, and I'll do this on the A chord, down, 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 up. And if that up at the end confuses you, just do down, 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 down. You can just do 4 downs and still keep the beat with everybody else and me, since I'm the only one you can hear. And try if you can to think about 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3 get a little heavier weight. If you don't feel like you're doing that, that's fine, but just think it in your head or nod along with it. That's one of the keys to getting the rock strum, is really feeling that driving 1 and 2 and a 3 and 2 and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and. So that's the verse, and also let's see, it's also the middle chorus is also strummed. And then there's picking at the beginning and the end, which again, is going to be optional for you. You don't have to. If you're going to pick, what Cynthia's suggesting, which is a little more complicated, is to pluck your G, E, and A together, and then to pluck the C string with your index finger as your second beat. So 1 and 2 and you can actually do it both ways, the same way both times. You don't have to do, she's written 1, 3, 4 the first time, and then just E and A together the second time. If you're more advanced, you can do that. But otherwise, I would just do it the same way both. I do 1, 3, 4 together, 2 both times. 1 and 2 and. So you can keep that G going with you. If that feels too complicated, then you could just pluck all the strings together at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that would get you sort of used to the motion of plucking several strings at once. So that wouldn't be a bad thing to practice. You kind of have to think your thumb goes down and the rest of the fingers come up. And I kind of think pinch together into the center. And you could even do it half time. So instead of doing 4, you could do 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. That would not be a bad motion to practice, because it will turn into later when you, for example, just want to do G, E, and A together. It's the same motion, it's just leaving a finger out. So however it feels accessible to you, you could also just continue to strum at rock strum, and nobody's getting in trouble if I look up and see you strumming, so feel free to do that if that's what feels best to you. I'm all for making it work for you. But I'm going to probably do, why don't I do the 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, just as a beginner option. And I've never played it that way before, so we'll see if I mess it up or if I do it right. But I think that's a good thing to practice. So if you're going to do the regular picking, though, you'll be the same rhythm as us. You'll just sound like this: 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So you can play it either way. All right, so let's try it out. We'll return to the picking at the end too, where it says outro there on that last line. It's just instrumental, and we pick again. So picking will go in the intro and the chorus, and then we'll start strumming. Let's give it a try. Not too fast. 1 and 2 and here we go. And A and A and C and C and G and G and F and F. Again. A and A, C and gold diamond rings and Fendi sports bras, riding down Rodeo in my Maserati sports car. Got no stress, I've been through all that. I'm like a Marlboro man, so I kick on back. Wish I could roll on back to the old town road. I wanna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. Here's a picking. 1 and 2 and C and 2 and G, 2 and F. Same thing. That's where it ends. Nice work, folks. Let's see you playing along, which is very nice. All right, now we're going to look at the request of Walk Like an Egyptian, and we're going to talk for a second about chucking. So this came up in our most recent patron live stream lesson last month. We were talking about strumming, and we did some practice on the rock strum, and we did some triplets, and we talked about some other strums and how to modify the island strum and that sort of thing. But one of the things came up was some people are still working on chucking, which is absolutely, understandable. Often people start out with sort of regular up and down strumming, and then we slowly start to add more percussive elements into our strum. And this song has as an alternate a chucking island strum, which is written out here: down, chuck up, chuck up. That's what the X is. And a chuck or a chunk is, and let me spotlight my screen here. When you do a chuck or a chunk, what you're basically doing is you are strumming down with your finger. It usually works better with index finger than with thumb. So if you're a thumb strummer, you may find the chuck a little harder to do. You may want to try it with the index. I'm not saying you can't make it work with thumb, but I find it much easier with index. You're going to strum down with the nail, but at the same time, you're going to bring your palm of your hand, and for me it hits right here on the outside and bottom of my hand, but for some people it may hit more towards your thumb. It's really something you can experiment with and see where does it help you to hit that you're going to want to hit it so fast that instead of ringing out, it goes like this. So you actually hear the sound of your finger scraping, or your fingernail scraping across, and you don't need long fingernails to do this because it's the flat of your fingernail that's doing it. But at the same time, you're bringing your hand down, and that hitting the strings will cut off the sound before it rings, but you'll still get that scratch. Now, one of the tips that I heard somewhere that really helped me when I was first starting to chuck, and it has seemed to matter a little less as I got better at chucking, but at the beginning, this was a really important tip for me, which is that when you're holding your ukulele, I think a lot of us as beginners have a tendency to tip it up a little bit towards our face so we can see what we're doing on the fretboard, which again, that's what I did too. It's completely understandable. With the chuck, I found it much harder to chuck if my ukulele was tipped up toward my face. And by making sure it was straight on my side, I could hit that better. And I always tell my little kids that I teach, think about the sound hole like pointing a laser straight out from your belly button or the center of your chest. Like that's kind of how flat you want it to be. You want to make sure that you can't laser yourself in the face, basically, is what the little kids like to hear me say. They enjoy that. So as you're strumming down, you may find that at first it kind of rings through a little bit and you can't quite get it as fast as you want to, but it's just practice. That's just practice of just like, I'm trying to hit it right as I strum my finger across. So I'm strumming and I'm hitting, and eventually after some practice you can get it so that they're happening almost simultaneously so that you can still get that scratch. Now, the thing with chucking that's different from, like, some people will mute, like I talked about with scrape strums, and will mute with their fretting hand and then do a strum and do a scrape or a scratch. That can be done with ups and downs, but with a chuck you can really only go down. There's not really a way to go up and also chuck at the same time. Someone always makes a joke about up chucking, but that is what you cannot do. You can only chuck down. And if you want to do it with ups, then you're better off doing one of your left hand mutings of the strings. Or if you're playing a lot of chords that cover all four strings, or that you can use an extra finger, and I won't go into this now because this is a beginner jam, but there are other techniques you can use to also mute and scratch on other kinds of strums. But for our purposes with the island strum, we're going down, up, chuck, down, down, up, down, I was thinking of another strum. Down, chuck, up, chuck, up. And what I would recommend when you're first starting out is maybe you only try one of those chucks. You could do both of them if it's coming for you easily, but you could also try just down, chuck, up, down, up. You're just trying to get the first chuck, which is the second down, chuck, up, down, chuck, up. And then if it doesn't go well, you've still got the rest of that strum that you feel like, well, that sounds right. And you can certainly throw in that other chuck if you want. Or you could just try to do the last chuck, which I think makes less sense sometimes in people's heads, but it would also work. Down, up, chuck, up, down, up, chuck, up. So if you don't feel like 2 is asking too much from your hands, just pick one of them and throw it in. And we'll give the song a shot here. So how about I will do the chucking island strum on this one, but if you're not interested in chucking or you feel like it's totally beyond you or you get tired of it halfway through the song, the island strum is exactly the same rhythm. So you can still do the island strum and be exactly in time with me. We're not changing any beats or anything. It's still going to be down, up, down, chuck, up. It's the same exact, it fits the same way. And I am going to do a little scraping here too, so you can try that if you want, but if you don't, which is the one where I said I'm just hold my hands loosely over the strings and strum the same way, you can just do regular island strum for those too, or chucking island strum. So all island strum works in the whole song, and there won't be any curveballs thrown your way if you just want to island strum. And again, if you're not yet to island strum point, then you can do that down, up, or you can just do single strums, whatever you need to do. Let's give this one a try. We won't do it super fast. I like this song to kind of run away with me when I do my mixed level jams. So I'm going to consciously slow myself down a little bit. Okay, let's try this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're strumming or you're scraping, either one. You strum on an A if you're strumming. We'll do this one more time. Here comes the verse. All the old paintings on the tombs, they do the sand dance, don't you know? If they move too quick, oh, hey, oh, they're falling down like a domino. All the buzzsaw men by the Nile, they got the money on a bet. Gold crocodiles, oh, way, oh, they snap their teeth on your cigarette. Foreign types with the hookah pipe say, hey, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh. Single strum this A. Walk like an Egyptian. Island, scrape, or strum. 2. And here's the A. 2, 3. One more. The blonde waitresses take their trays, they spin around and they cross the floor. They've got the moves, oh, hey, oh, you drop your drink, then they bring you more. All the school kids so sick of books, they're like that song just kind of floats away into the air there. How did that feel, Cheryl? Was that a little helpful on the chucking? I mean, I know it takes practice.
Yes. It's going to take some practice.
Yes.
Thank you, though, Jeannie. Thanks.
Absolutely. Happy to help with it. If I find some good videos that other people have taught on chucking, I'll make a Patreon post or something and share, because I think I did kind of watch every video I could find on YouTube that was about chucking when I first started to try to chuck. All right, let's see. Oh, we've got another request. Great, here over on YouTube. Can we do Runaway? Let's do Runaway. This is a fun one. So here's Runaway. It does have a little more chords in it, and they're not all chords we've played already, so let's just look at, there's an E7. I play that with my index on the G string, and then I use my middle and my ring finger to play the other two notes on the 2nd fret. And then F sharp minor is a great chord to know. It sounds awesome in a lot of songs, and it is the same shape as G7. It's just in a different spot on your fretboard. So if you think about that as a G7 shape, I think it will come easier to you if it's not a familiar chord to you. But just remember that you're on the G, C, E strings instead of G7, which is on the C, E, A strings. The other cool thing about going from A to F sharp minor is that you're only having to put one finger down. So if you're already on an A, you're just putting down your ring finger on the 2nd fret of that E string, and you've got the F sharp minor. So I love it when I'm playing a song that has A and F sharp minor in it. I feel like it works really nicely, and I like that exchange. And you do that exchange back and forth, you know, several times. So it's kind of a nice fluid change that you can do. All right, let's get, oh, and at the very end here, I like to end with an A cha-cha-cha, which I just do all on down strums. Feel free to strum it however you like. You could just do the single strum, whatever works for you. This one, again, I'm going to go to island strum. There's lots of different strums you could make work with this. If you're having fun practicing the chuck, go ahead and keep practicing the chuck on this one. You could do chucking island, but I'm going to play regular island here, and you can modify that if you'd like. So we won't go too fast. We're on the A minor. Here's the intro. 1, 2, 3, intro. We'll sing it here. As I walk along, I wonder what went wrong with our love, a love that was so strong. And as I still walk on, I think of the things we've done together while our hearts were young. I'm walking in the rain, tears are falling and Angela over on YouTube. Nice to see you made it. How's everybody doing? Let's see, I can take my self off spotlight so I can see everybody again. Alan, I didn't say hi to you when you came in because it was just before we started a song, but it is nice to see you as well. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's go back to that table of contents. We have time for some more requests. Here we go.
Could we do these boots, Jenny?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, it's always me.
No, I'm glad. It's not always you, and I'm glad that you have some requests. Also, we don't see you guys every time, so I'm happy that you're here making requests. All right, going down to these boots. I like this one in my beginner book because although it has a riff, and so might not look beginner, it has a very easy riff. And I think this is like one of the easiest riffs to start out on if you're interested in doing some riff playing. It is a great one to practice on because it's almost just a bunch of frets in a row. There's one little change at the very end, but basically if you look at that run that I've written there for the intro, if you can find your 9th fret, you can play this. So a lot of people have dots at 5, 7, 10. Some people have dots on 3. But if you can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on your C string, we're going to start on that note. So again, this works on low G or high G because your C is going to be the same no matter what. And we're going to do each fret twice until we get to the 2nd fret. We're going to play that once, and then we're going to play the open fret, or just open C string, and then we're going to hit our A chord. So very slowly, that sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 9, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, open, A. And you can use your fingers however it makes sense to you. I like to pluck it with my thumb, but if you like to do it with your index finger, or if you like to alternate index and middle because you're learning flamenco, whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you like. But I find the easiest for me, and was as a beginner as well, is to do one thumb pluck for each one of those. It also, when you're thinking about your fretting hand, you can also finger that however it makes sense to you. So maybe you want to start with your ring finger on 9 and then walk back with your middle and index and then move your hand, or maybe you want to do it with your index finger the whole way down the fretboard because that's easier to you, because a lot of us have the most control over our index finger. Whatever works for you is totally fine, and we won't do it super fast. So you'll get, like you see here, you get 4 chances to play that. So if you miss it even 3 of the times, you might still get it once. So it's the same exact thing each time. All right, and then the rest of the song, you can do chucking island, you can do regular island. I'll do the regular island strum. And the chords are pretty simple. Again, if D7, I always say this, if D7 is hard for you in this barred shape, you can also stack your fingers and put a pinky on top, but if that's also hard, you could play the Hawaiian D7, which is 2, 0, 2, 0. But I always love that high note on top in most songs. So in most songs, I will recommend the barred or stack with the pinky. It's the same chord, just 2 different ways to play it. But you should do what works for you. So if you need to play 2, 0, 2, 0, that's also a D7. All right. So let's start out with this intro, not too fast. And if you just don't want to even try it, don't worry about it. You can just, let's see, you can play the A the whole time, or you can just pause and wait and then come in on the strumming. All right, so 1 and 2, and here we go. And now I should have said we'll go into the island strum there. So that's where we'll do start the island strum. It won't just be a single A, it'll be the actual strumming. So let's start with the first verse, then we'll do that run again after the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. You keep saying you've got something for me, something you can't love but confess. You've been messing where you shouldn't have been messing. And I made this arrangement the way I did with that single strum on the walk all over you so that it gives you a little more time to get to find 9. So you don't have to strum all the way through. You could strum all the way through that chord, walk all over, and then jump. But I don't think that's very beginner friendly, so I specifically put a single strum there so you have a little more time to get to the 9 when you're walking down it. I also was thinking as I was playing this, and I messed that entrance up, that I keep talking where I should be playing, and I'm going to have to make myself some parody lyrics of this song to, to fit that for myself, because that is my reality. All right. What's up next? We have time for a couple more. Oh, my pleasure, Angela. Thanks for showing up. Wouldn't be any fun to do if I was all by myself. American Pie, great.
It's American Pie.
I got American Pie and then Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow as the 2 requests over on YouTube. That'll probably take us through the end because American Pie is so long, which is great. I don't mind that it's so long. I think it's fun to play and fun to sing. You'll see here, it's mostly chords we've already done. That E minor we may not have done yet today, and of course that is not the easiest shape, especially for beginners, but I always think of it as a stair step hinged around my index finger. So if you can place that index finger on the 2nd fret of your A string and then think about walking your other 2 fingers into place, I find that helpful. You'll get faster as you make the change more frequently. But for me, like really thinking about where does my index go and then I'll worry about the other fingers helped me when I was first learning E minor. Sometimes in songs we have a G followed by an E minor, and then Cynthia taught us a little pinky trick, but we don't think we have that in this song. I think those E minors come after C's and D's, so that doesn't help us. All right, let's give this one a try here. Again, another Cynthia Lynn arrangement. She suggested island strum again, and then what we did at the beginning, which was on the places where she's put it inside brackets, because those measures are split between 2 chords, we'll just do a down, down, up on those. All right, so I think this is not quite the right key for me, but that's okay. Hopefully it will be for you. And you can sing louder than me if you like. We'll start with the single strum. 1, 2, 3. A long, long time ago, I can still remember how the music used to make me smile. That I knew if I had my chance, I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride. Something touched me deep inside the day. The music died. I'm just going to scroll up here before we start strumming. So, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above? If the Bible tells you so. Now do you believe in rock and roll? Can music save your mortal soul? And can it teach me how to dance real slow? Well, I know that you're in love with him, 'cause I saw you dancing in the gym. both kicked off your shoes. Man, I dig those rhythm and blues. I was a lonely teenage bronc and buck with a pink carnation and a pickup truck. But I knew I was out of luck the day the music died. I started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that now for 10 years we've been on our own, and my scrub's fat on a rolling stone. But that's not how it used to be. When the jester sang for the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean, in a voice that came from you and me. Oh, and while the king was looking down, the jester stole his thorny crown. The courtroom was adjourned, no verdict was returned. And while Lennon read a book on Marx, the quartet practiced in the park, and we sang dirges in the dark the day the music died. We were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. Helter skelter in the summer swelter, the birds flew off with the fallout shelter. 8 miles high and falling fast. Landed foul on the grass. The players tried for a forward pass, with the jester on the sidelines in a cast. Now the halftime cheer. I met a girl who sang the blues, and I asked her for some happy news, but she just smiled and turned away. 2, 3, 4. I went down to the sacred store where I'd heard the music years before, but the man there said the music wouldn't play. But in the streets the children screamed, the lovers cried, and the poets dreamed. Not a word was spoken. The church bells all were broken, and the 3 men I admire the most, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, they caught the last train for the coast the day the music died, and they were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die. They were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. Yes, that's quite epic, right? Oh my gosh. So, I know some people may need to leave right at 1:30 or whatever time it is where you are, 6:30 for some of you, but I'm going to play one more song because we got that request from John North, and I think Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow is a really nice one to end on, and so I'm going to go down to that one, and if you're able to stick around and play one more with us, then we'll do this one, and if you need to leave, I totally understand. And hopefully you can join us on another one. We have another one of these beginner jams coming up on a Saturday towards the end of the month, and then we also have 2 Tuesdays that we'll do the mixed level jams. Beginners are very welcome at those as well, but we will be playing some more intermediate songs as well as beginner songs, both. But again, you can always modify to make it work for you however you need to. All right, so again, we're going to go to nice old island strum here, unless you want to strum it a different way, and we'll just finish on this one. John, thanks for suggesting it. Thanks for all the requests today. I know some of you may need to dash right when we end, but I appreciate everybody being here, and thank you very much to my patrons who make it possible for me to take the time to do this. I appreciate you all as well. All right, so let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, intro. Here's the first verse. Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes. Thanks again, everybody. I'm going to say farewell to folks over on YouTube first. Thanks for joining in. I really appreciate it every time. And thank you, folks on Zoom.